I want to play you the first of these South Park clips and get you to react.
Listen to this. Meghan Markle to join the 11th season of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Ugh, so thirsty for any kind of attention. I would die before I would be on her reality show.
A taste of entitlement, greed, avarice and deception.
I nearly entered rehab yesterday. That is the biggest pile of crap I've ever seen on television in my life.
The couple have been begging for privacy, and South Park has done a parody of this, and apparently it has really upset Meghan Markle.
Who just went off on these, what did she call them? Queen's husband was dying, and she went on Oprah and suggested one or both of them are raging racists. She couldn't have cared less. She doesn't care about anyone other than herself.
I'm opening this cylinder now. If you're watching, what a ta-da!
What mother or father in the name of sweet Jesus has enough time to create a fruit plate at 6 o'clock on a Monday morning when there's toast throwing around the room?
It started with a single missing name. For years, Meghan Markle spoke of Tyler Perry the way Renaissance artists praised their patrons, guardian, benefactor, almost saintly. He flew her and Harry out of exile, opened the gates of his hilltop fortress, surrounded them with guards when the palace wouldn't, and even cradled their newborn daughter in baptismal vows as godfather. Then, somewhere in the chill of last winter, she stopped saying Tyler at all. Interviews that once overflowed with gratitude suddenly replaced his name with the vague phrase, a generous friend.
We want our privacy and safety, but we'll go be at Beyoncé concerts and do whatever we want. Oh, look at him. It's my fox. Oh, yuck. Yuck, yuck, yuck.
And royal watchers heard the silence loud and clear. What had happened to the man who once rescued a duchess in distress? For months, the mystery simmered beneath a glossy influencer feed. Viewers were distracted by Beyoncé box seats, pastel soft life reels, and slow-motion rose pours. Nobody noticed the missing mogul in the montage until the 17th of June, 2025. That morning, TMZ plastered a $260 million lawsuit across every screen. Actor Derek Dixon accused Tyler Perry of years-long harassment, describing a late-night guest house encounter so disturbing, large portions of the filing were sealed. Perry's lawyers thundered, "Shakedown!" Tabloids feasted on every adjective, and Meghan's months-old silence snapped into focus.
If you think about it, Meghan got everything she wanted. She got the husband, she got the children, she got the HRH, she got everything that allowed her to rise up and to have that global recognition that we know how badly she wanted that.
Meghan ruined Harry. Now that the once carefree, fun-loving prince has turned into a miserable moaner, lashing out from the depths of his paranoia at a world he thinks is conspiring against him.
She'd seen this storm coming and ducked before the first thunderclap. The timeline was too tidy to ignore. Her last public Tyler shout-out appeared in the November 2023 podcast promo. By December, she was murmuring, "a generous friend." By May 2025, at the Paley Center Gala honoring Perry, she sat 2 tables away, skipped the red carpet stroll beside him, and slipped out before dessert. To cynics, it smelled like preemptive damage control. Erase the ally before the ally turned radioactive. Yet Tyler Perry is no ordinary brunch buddy. He is the archive, one of the only outsiders who watched the Sussex escape plan unfold in real time. He fielded midnight calls when Harry claimed royal protection had vanished, arranged bulletproof SUVs, and, insiders say, witnessed the frantic strategizing that later became Netflix gold.
Oh, shut up. No! I refuse! I'm sick of it!
No, look, Maureen.
I can't.
Look at this.
I can't.
Like, guys, you don't got to do this. Please, I'm begging you to stop.
Meghan, I'm begging you to stop now.
What do you mean the stakes are this high? Who do you think you are? No, I don't want to cook again, Meghan. My God, take a break.
Want respect? Try shutting up.
If Perry ever opens his cloud backups, whole chapters of Meghan's victim-to-victor saga could crumble overnight. That possibility, more than the lurid lawsuit, keeps Montecito's crisis team sweating. Skeptical? Consider the Duchess's track record. Elevate, exploit, exit. Jessica Mulroney learned it in 2020 when a social media scuffle left her toxic. Palace aides felt it when workplace bullying complaints threatened daylight. Spotify executives grasped it when a $20 million podcast deal fizzled after 1 season of archetypes. Each time the bridge burned, Meghan vanished behind Pinterest-grade affirmations and re-emerged somewhere sunlit. Cut the cord, keep the brand. But Tyler Perry presents a problem she cannot tidy away with pastel filters. Whether the lawsuit succeeds or not, the headlines weld his name to predatory allegations. Meghan once paraded him as godfather, savior, centerpiece of her Netflix confession. Pretend now that he was merely a friend, and critics howl hypocrisy. Defend him, and any courtroom loss splashes straight onto her image. It is a lose-lose equation, so she has chosen option 3, silence so deafening it feels choreographed.
I might watch it in the same way that I turn my head to see a car accident.
It is the cringiest, most uncomfortable piece of tape I've seen in a long time.
These two are now an international embarrassment.
Here's the problem. We don't like you, Meghan Markle.
Inside Montecito, that silence hums with frantic motion. Staff reshuffles, NDA refreshers, and, rumor has it, a legal memo scouring canon law for ways to reinterpret a godfather role without admitting error. The maneuver recalls her lightning-fast downgrade of her own father from affectionate to persona non grata between engagement photos and the Oprah special. Subtlety has never been a Sussex virtue. Meanwhile, Perry's circle smolders. Friends describe him as stunned by Meghan's abrupt ghosting. He sheltered the couple when Hollywood treated them like plutonium, lent his mansion for Netflix shoots, and footed his own security bills to keep paparazzi at bay. If gratitude can evaporate that quickly, those friends ask, why should Perry keep guarding her secrets? That is Meghan's nightmare. One leaked email, proof she demanded extra security months before claiming abandonment, or a bill contradicting her financial timeline could detonate the brand she has spent 5 years polishing. Complicating matters, Perry now fights on a public battlefield. If the civil suit survives early motions, he will sit for deposition, sworn testimony recorded, and eventually discoverable. Even if questions stay narrow, plaintiff lawyers can surface character evidence, emails, texts, guest log signatures. Any Sussex chatter tucked inside those files becomes public record, feeding tabloids that once tracked Meghan's every coffee run. Royal strategists in London watch like hawks. Prince William still holds the sealed bullying dossier said to document staff reduced to tears. If Meghan frames the Perry mess as another race-coded witch hunt, palace insiders hint William could unseal that report as counterfire. Chess pieces inch forward on 2 continents, each side stockpiling receipts like artillery shells.
This one brilliantly exposes some of the Sussex's laughable hypocrisy. What?
Yes, that's right, friends. You see, my wife and I are totally like, you should write a book because your family's like stupid, and then so are like journalists.
All this lands atop the Sussex's cash flow migraine. Spotify walked. Netflix quietly trimmed their development slate. A splashy Lemonada podcast, trumpeted in April, slipped off release calendars after sponsors balked at sentiment scores. Staff layoffs followed. In May, Meghan unveiled her American Riviera Orchard Jam line, but analysts note the website hides sales numbers, never a bullish sign. The Duchess beams about a soft life era, yet insiders describe an office where weekly Zooms revolve around worst-case press scenarios, not lavender harvests. Still, Meghan doubles down on curated sunshine. At a June entrepreneur panel, she declared, "I just wish people would tell the truth." She intended empowerment. The internet responded with South Park gifs and Oprah eye-roll memes. The line sounded less like bravery and more like a dare.
She's apparently spent days being upset and overwhelmed, according to sources, over this parody, which picks apart all of their publicity blitz while at the same time begging privacy.
Especially to anyone holding receipts. Perry, people forget, keeps receipts. He is a studio boss who built an empire by owning every camera, call sheet, and hard drive. If he feels betrayed, he knows exactly how to storyboard a comeback. Friends insist he hates public feuds, yet they also say he refuses to be thrown under a Montecito bus. Tyler helped her when the world slammed every door. One insider remarked, "You don't ghost that man without consequences." Where does Prince Harry fit in this crossfire? Sources say he is torn, loyal to his wife, fond of Uncle TP, and haunted by the bridges, torched since Megxit. He has reportedly sent Perry anxious WhatsApps, received polite thumbs-up replies, then watched communication freeze. For a man who once prided himself on lifelong military camaraderie, the silence burns. Meanwhile, Buckingham Palace waits. Courtiers believe public fatigue with Sussex melodrama grows monthly. The Perry saga could accelerate that fatigue into wholesale indifference. The one outcome Meghan's lifestyle empire might not survive. Archetypes of resilience do not sell if the audience has tuned out. So Meghan faces a trident of choices. First, stand by Perry, risking splash damage but salvaging loyalty credit. Second, keep ghosting him and pray the lawsuit collapses swiftly. Third, lean into victim rhetoric, framing the ordeal as patriarchal persecution. Historically, she chooses door 3, yet pundits warn the public mood has shifted. Performative pain no longer converts into clicks the way it once did. Amid all this calculus, one immutable truth remains. Silence speaks. Every day Meghan omits Tyler's name, reporters dig deeper. Each charity photo op attracts comments about the godfather she pretends not to know. If Perry's deposition surfaces a single contradiction, dates, dollars, tone of phone calls, her carefully curated narrative tilts permanently. That prospect haunts Montecito corridors. Crisis managers can choreograph pap walks, but they cannot gag a billionaire with wounded pride. A duchess can trademark lifestyle mantras, yet she cannot trademark memory. When someone rescues you in public, gratitude becomes part of the historical record. Erasing it looks less like independence and more like ingratitude on steroids, which circles back to the missing name. Mentors can fade, but they rarely vanish without obituary or scandal. Meghan's abrupt deletion of Tyler Perry hints at a deeper dread, that her origin myth, oppressed duchess seeking safety, proves paper thin once the man who provided that safety starts talking.
Isn't it true, sir, that your questionable wife has her own TV show and hangs out with celebrities and does fashion magazines? What are you suggesting? Well, I just think some people might say that your Instagram-loving wife actually doesn't want her privacy. How dare you, sir? My Instagram-loving wife has always wanted her privacy!
Any type of flower arranging is just telling a story. What story do you want to tell? Maybe leave the country. Maybe disown your dad. Be creative with it.
If one pillar collapses, what stops the rest? And make no mistake, Perry owns pillars. He arranged the flight manifest. He hired security teams. He likely signed checks that trace when the Sussexes decided Los Angeles was safer than Vancouver Island. He probably overheard early drafts of the Oprah interview. He definitely knows which anecdotes were dramatized for Netflix. That is not gossip. That is data. Kryptonite to PR spin. So, the world waits. Maybe Perry, loyal to a fault, says nothing, settles the lawsuit privately, and lets Meghan revise history unchallenged.
One of the executives came out and said they quite literally have no talent, but worse than that, they don't want to work. Never, ever, because they don't really know how to make money, right? Their entire brand is talking about their own victimhood. They want them to continue to trash the royal family.
Maybe bitterness festers until a late-night talk show tempts him with a redemption arc. Or perhaps discovery subpoenas drag every archived text into the light, turning private loyalty into public evidence. If that happens, Meghan's jam jars will not sweeten the fallout. All the lavender-fueled reels in California cannot mask an origin story that suddenly reads like fiction. Public trust, once cracked, rarely reseals. Remember when Oprah asked, "Were you silent or were you silenced?" The irony now is brutal. Meghan's future may hinge on whether Tyler Perry chooses silence or is silent no more. Until then, we watch the calendar. Court dates loom. Royal aides polish dusty files. A duchess curates pastel-tinted snippets about resilience, while her former guardian angel faces a $260 million reckoning. One side hopes for quiet, the other prepares for discovery. The next headline could drop tonight or in 6 months, but whenever it lands, the name Meghan tried to erase will roar louder than ever. So what do you think? Is her disappearing act strategic genius or self-destructive hubris? If Tyler Perry finally tells his side, will the Duchess's carefully crafted empire hold or fold? Scroll down, hit subscribe, and buckle up. The truth, whispered or shouted, is on its way.